Namaskar, welcome you all in this educational video of NIUS. Today's subject is EVS. Code number for this subject is 333. This is for senior secondary level. We are doing lesson number 4 and topic of the lesson is shown on the screen. It is Principles of Ecology. Principles means different rules, and the word ecology is a kind of system in which different things are linked together in a different way. So today we will be learning this lesson, and this video is part 1. First we will be doing difficult words. Now you can see one difficult word on the screen. It is larva. These are the very small larvae, or you can say insects. It is a stage of insects. Just like when you have in kitchen, whenever you keep any food item which is kept for few days, then after few days you can see different larvae in that food item which is kept and which is decayed. So larva is the stage name in different insects. This word is mineral. Minerals are found in different layers of the earth. There are different kinds of minerals which are available. You can see different names written on the screen also, like phosphorus and nitrogen, iron and zinc and aluminium. So there are very different kinds of minerals which are available on earth. All these minerals, you can say many years ago, or in other words you can say before Christ, many years before Christ, when the fossil fuel which was found under the earth layers, so in those layers, because of the time gap of so many years and the heat of the earth which is inside the earth, there are many chemical reactions which occurs and which results into different kinds of formation of minerals. On screen you can see only few names, but in reality there are various minerals available on the earth. You must have seen railways, so different kinds of machinery or machines are made up of iron, and also there are different kinds of things, utensils, items which are made from all these minerals. Different ornaments are also made using minerals, like electronic items which we use at our home. In those items also we use many minerals. So minerals are used in many ways. You can say coal, petroleum, oil, gas. All these are the items which were found inside the earth, and also minerals were found inside the earth. This word is moisture. You all must have experienced whenever you open any packet of biscuits. You know, biscuit is crunchy when you buy, and when you open that packet just for the first time, if you keep that biscuit for a few hours, then it soaks moisture from the air, or you can say soak water. So that is known as moisture. This word is adapt and adaptation. Both these are having similar meaning. One meaning is habit. When we have some habit, we do something regularly. For example, a camel. Camel is habitual of walking in sand. Whether the sun is hot or it is just normal, but the camel can easily walk on that sand. So you can say camel is adapted for that environment. And on the other hand, in another example, in cold weather, you can see the image of the bear, B-E-A-R, bear. The bear is comfortable living in a cold environment, or a place where there is so much cold or ice. So similarly, there are different organisms on earth. They have adaptation for a particular environment. So accordingly, we use this word adapt. This word is fur. Different animals have different kinds of fur. There are wild animals which have fur. Sometimes few birds also have fur. So this word is fur. This word is vegetation. Some of us may get confused with the word vegetable. So let me tell you, this word is not vegetable. This is different from vegetable. Vegetation is the name of the group of all the plants. This word is genetic. You can say that we see DNA, we find DNA. All organisms which are on earth, they all have DNA, or they all have some genes. Animals, plants, trees, birds, fish, human, any organism which is on earth, they all have some genetic structure. Now this image is having two different pictures. The first is deciduous and the second is evergreen. See, the deciduous means when weather changes, the leaves of the tree fall down. So deciduous means a tree which has leaves, and those leaves fall away, fall down as the weather changes. And another word is evergreen, in which the leaves remain green always. This word is geological. This is related with earth. It is something which is done for getting information or acquiring knowledge regarding earth. So this research can be on any topic which is related with earth. This word is interact. Interact involves two people. When they share their thoughts, they interact, they exchange their views or they talk to each other. And similarly in our environment, like we breathe, or there are animals who also breathe, animals, birds all breathe. And also in environment we have plants, water, river, sand. So we have exchange of so many things, like we need food and plants give us food. With the help of sun, plants prepare their food. So we all are interdependent, so we interact with each other. We give water to plants, we give fertilizers to plant. So similarly we are interdependent, and we can say we interact in our environment. This word is physical. You can say physical has many meanings. In this context, physical means something which we can touch. Like water, we can touch water, and we can touch trees. All those things to which we can touch with our hands are known as physical. This word science, or another word is scientific, has a kind of similar meaning, but the word scientific is used here in general. It is a way with which we do our work. This word is mutate. Earlier we had learnt the word DNA and the genetic. So it is a word which is used in the context of genes. Let me explain. Like there are different flowers which are around us in the environment, and if their DNA is changed or their main structure is changed, then the new mutated organism which we get may have some other genes, or you can say that is a new mutated gene. So similarly it can be done in any organism. Naturally, when we try to mutate any gene, it can be done in any species. And when it is mutated, we get a different structure of the gene altogether. This word is offspring. It means baby. Like all animals have babies. Birds also have babies, and we human also have babies. So all the animals which are on earth, they all have babies. So this word is used for the same meaning. This word is variation in birds. Variation means something different in all those members of the group. So on screen you can see different birds having different kinds of beaks. Let us have a break here.
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने। हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने।
की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो,
संसाधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो।
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े, वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो।
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े, वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो।
मित्रों हम उठे और जागे,
मंजिल आने की ध्वनि सुने। हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने।
राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालय का है द्वार खुला सबकी खातिर।
शिक्षा परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर।
शिक्षा परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर। दुनिया में इसके केंद्र बात,
कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने। हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने। कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने।
Now, let us talk about our lesson's objective. The first objective is we will be defining the term ecology. The second objective is we will be able to explain the relationship between organisms and its habitat, with a special mention of the human species. You will understand how organism and human species and the environment are related. After that, we will be able to recognize the levels of ecological organizations from organisms to population. And after that, we will be able to understand and differentiate between habitat and niche. And also we will be able to describe the concept of species. So all these are objectives which we will be learning in our lesson. Now this is the meaning of ecology in a very simple words. Ecology means there is an interrelated relationship of an organism with biotic and abiotic factors of our environment. As we know that there are various biotic components and also some abiotic components like air, sun, water, soil, temperature. All these are the abiotic components. So when they interact, then that interrelationship is known as ecology. Let me explain you with an example. Like we are human and we need water. So we need water. Water is abiotic component, and also we need sun, and also we need air for breathing. So similarly, plants also need us, air also need us to continue move forward in our life. Now this word ecology was the word which was given by a German biologist whose name is Ernst Haeckel, which is shown on the screen also. And first time this word was used in the year 1869. You know this word ecology, when we break this word ecology, so we get two words, and if you see, these words have been taken from Greek. So eco is a Greek word. Oikos in Greece means home, and estate, and the other word logos, it means study. So oikos can be considered as home or estate. Now here we will be understanding the ecology. Ecology word can be defined as the scientific study of the relationship of living organisms with each other and with the environment. And when there is a relationship, then the emphasis is on the relationship between organisms and the components of the environment. What kind of components? The components can be biotic and abiotic components. So the relationship between abiotic and biotic components are known as ecology, as we already know. Here, let us now understand the ecological levels of organization, which we will be learning here. The ecological level of organization spectrum, it emphasizes the interaction of the living, which is biotic, and the non-living, which is abiotic component, which leads to formation of a system at each level. There are different levels, and all the components interact on those levels. For example, a community which has biotic components, they make ecosystem with the help of energy and matter. like sun, water, earth, temperature. All these are the components of our ecosystem. Let us now understand the levels of organization from individual to biosphere in nature. It includes the different levels. The first level is the individual level. B is the second level, which is population. C is the third level, which is known as community. Fourth level is here D, which is known as ecosystem. Fifth level is E, which is biome. And the last sixth level is F, which is biosphere. This is the topmost layer. So we will be understanding all these 6 levels of organization further. Here we can see the first level of ecological organization. The first level is individual organism. So the basic unit of study, as we already know. The second level is population. It is a group of organisms consisting of different populations that live in any defined area, or you can say at a defined place. The third level is community, and community means a group of organisms which consist of a number of different species that live in an area and they all interact with each other. The next level, which is fourth level, that is ecosystem. Ecosystem has communities of organisms and their physical environment. They all interact as an ecological unit. And the fifth level is the biome. It is a large community unit which is characterized by a major vegetation type and associated fauna, which is found in a specific climatic region, which is known as a biome. Biome here refers to basically the terrestrial area. The aquatic system, like the sea, the river, the water, temperature, all the trees and all the natural environment, they all are divided into distinct life zones on the basis of the environment. And if we talk about the aquatic life, then there are rivers, oceans, and that also have different kinds of components inside them. Like air has different components, water has different components. This is the 6th topmost level. Its name is biosphere. Biosphere is the study of human activities which affects the earth, like global climate and ozone hole, etc. prevents the earth from the harmful rays or radiations from the sun. As we all know that ozone protects earth. Now here we will be understanding habitat and organism. We will be talking in general. Habitat is the physical environment in which an organism lives. As each organism has a particular requirement for its survival, and that organism lives where the environment provides for all those needs. All those basic needs are water, food, and shelter. And if that organism changes that place, then it would be difficult for that organism to survive, because all the basic needs need to be fulfilled. If needs are fulfilled, then the survival is easy. Now there are different features of the habitat, and we can understand all those features here. The first important feature is space. The second important feature is food. Third important feature is water, and fourth one is shelter. So all these four features are the basic needs which are important. Now here Earth has four major habitats. All those habitats you can see on the screen as well. The first is terrestrial, the second is fresh water, the third is estuarine, and fourth one is ocean. Estuarine is having different rivers water mixed together, and ocean you all must be aware of. All these four features are important in any habitat. A habitat may support many different species having similar requirements. For example, a single ocean habitat may support a whale. You know, a whale is a big fish, or a seahorse. Seahorse is a small animal, it's a small water animal, you must have seen. And the seal, or the phytoplankton. Phytoplankton is a water plant. So all these are, and many other kinds of organisms, they need a particular environment. So that is why their home or their habitat is similar, like ocean or water. Nature and organism. In nature, many species occupy the same habitat, but they perform different functions. Let me explain this to you. The functional characteristics of a species in its habitat is named as niche in that common habitat. So similarly, there are many species, they have a common habitat. like birds and different insects, they all have a common habitat, that is tree. In tree, birds make nest and they live, and also there are small insects whose habitat is tree. So NICHA, niche word, is considered for all those organisms which occupy the same habitat but they perform different functions. In continuation of that word niche, we know that niche is unique for a species. While many species share the habitat, and no two species in a habitat can have the same niche. This is because if two species occupy the same niche, they will compete with one another until one is displaced. Now here you can see on screen, let me explain it so that you can understand. There are different species. You can see the tree, and if you see in that image also that there are various organisms who use this tree as habitat, but the place is different. And here on screen you can see, just like the previous image you had seen, similarly in that previous image you had seen that a tree has different organisms whose habitat is different. Birds live on top, insects live on the different part of the plant or tree, and there are some insects which are under the ground also. So similarly, at different parts of the tree have different organisms. The word niche is an occupation of an organism in its community, and on that tree there are a habitat of several insects, whereas each insect has different niche. Like lace bug occupies the top canopy of the tree in the previous picture you had seen, and then moth larvae feed on the shoot serpentine leaf miner. Moth larva was on the leaf because that requires a surface on the leaf for feeding. And then there was another organism with name white grub. Its trophic niche is root of the tree. It was found under the ground in the roots of the plant. So one habitat have different organisms at different places. This is niche. The word niche means the sum of all the activities and relationship of a species by which it uses the resources in its habitat for its survival and reproduction. The niche is unique for a species. While many species may share the habitat, but still, no two species in a habitat can have the same niche. Let us move further. Another example is the vegetation of forests. Tall trees, short trees, shrubs, bushes and grasses all are the parts of a forest, but occupy different heights, and they all differ in their requirement for sunlight and nutrients so that they can survive together. And they can live in one environment. The most important resources in the nature of animals are food and shelter. While for plants, the most important resource is moisture and nutrients, just like phosphorus and nitrogen. And the most important resource in the niche of animals are food and shelter, while in case of plants, they are moisture and nutrients. The image shows the nature of human beings. The nutrients of the plants are phosphorus and nitrogen. In this image, you can see that there is an animal, and also there are different food shown along with that animal. And if we see the other side of the animals, then we see a man in the center. And the animals have their food picture shown in front of the animals. So it is all in an ecosystem. The need of the human, the need of the animal as a food is different, but it is going in a cycle. Now here we will be talking about adaptation. And adaptation is the appearance or the behavior or structure or mode of life of an organism that allows it to survive in a particular environment. And desert animals have raise their body above the ground by having long legs. Just like camel and the scorpio, both these are desert animals and they have the adaptability to stay for long hours in the dry place, just like deserts. The basic adaptation helps animals and plants to survive in their respective environments. Because they are interdependent. So that adaptability is the basic need. Some examples of basic adaptations are: for aquatic adaptation, there are few points. For aquatic adaptation, we need the presence of gills and fins in fish. Gills and fins are the parts of the fish body. And another example of basic adaptation is in aquatic flowering plants, the absence of wood formation is highly reduced and there is a root system for adaptation, and the aquatic plant is well adapted to live in the water. So it is natural phenomena. In continuation of the previous slide, the adaptation can be observed in structure, behavior, or in physiology of an organism. As adaptations have genetic basis, so it can be observed easily in the behavior. And the adaptations have developed over many generations to help a species survive successfully in its environment. Here we will talk about adaptation for birds. Like there is a shape for bird's beak. There are various kinds of shapes, and the thickness or thinness of the fur, and also the presence of feathers and wings in birds. Here we can see the adaptation for plants. There are some evergreen and some deciduous natures of trees. Deciduous trees are those in which trees fall. The leaves of the tree falls in a particular season, and also in some trees, some plants, there is an absence or presence of thorns on leaves and stems. And here we are talking about species. Species is defined as a group of similar population of organisms whose members are capable of interbreeding and to produce fertile offspring. There are different species like tiger, lion, lotus and rose. All these are examples of different species, and all species has a different scientific name which is understood by all those scientific community people all over the world. So these scientific names are given by those science community, or you can say scientist community. This image is explaining that humans belong to species of Homo sapiens. Since long time, the human have evolved, and now we see the modern man. And every species has its own set of genetic characteristics that makes the species unique. Here we talk about the variations in animals. There is a difference in color of skin and type of hair, curly or straight, eye color, blood type among different ethnic groups represent variation within human species. And similarly, there are different shapes and size of cows, dogs and cats. These are all examples of variations in each of these species. And here it is the variation in plants. In plants, tall and short pea varieties, various shapes and size of brinjals exhibits among these plant species. You must have seen different kinds of brinjals, different shapes and sizes of brinjals. So all these variations are produced as a result of chance mutation. And competition and natural selection determines as to which variation will succeed and survive. All these variations that enable a species to survive in that struggle for existence are encouraged and promoted. In plants, one can observe wide variation in size and shapes of mangoes and brinjals. So, what we have learnt so far, these are all the topics which we covered. I hope you must have understood all these. Thank you. Namaste.